Fun barley fact, for about 3 months of the year, we do not use our swimming pool, which is a tragedy because it's a beautiful pool. What you can use is experience. So here's a raw fact. To be successful online, to have something that ultimately, firstly, people will pay for, secondly, can get results, and thirdly, more than one person will pay for, you need to have a skill. You need to be able to make someone money. You need to be able to save someone money, or you need to be able to keep them legal, compliance and those kind of pieces, or you need to help them live a better life, live better in their body, live better in their relationship. So you need a skill to be able to do that. And the way you get skills is by doing things, right? And the more you have done something, the more experience you have. And the more experience you have, the more leverage you can create. And I want to give you, a 3-pillar way to look at this, because the more experience you have in your, chosen domain, the more leverage you have from day one. The less experience, the less leverage you have. So let's talk about someone with a small amount of experience. Someone who maybe has, got the result once for themselves or somebody else. The best thing to start for those people is delivering services for other people. So is actually repeating that process that they've done before and repeating it so they can deliver services to somebody. And services in the online space are the lowest form of leverage, because you need to perform the task for somebody else. So you need to deploy, labor, or you need to deploy resources to get someone the result. In the middle, someone with some experience can have, a done with you, online education program where they give people some of the tools, some of the resources, some of the training to do, and then they help them. I do this in the syndicate. I give people the tools, the templates, the resources that they can use, and then once and twice a week, I get on, a Zoom call with them and help them customize those pieces for themselves. So that is, a moderate form of leverage, because there's only so many people you can help at once, and you can help customize, and you can ultimately unpack the resources with. So a done with you program has a pretty high amount of leverage in the scheme of things, but it has constraints on it. You don't have an unlimited number of people you can help customize. The highest form of leverage, in simple terms, is, a book or an online course where you, through large amounts of experience, you put something together that on its own, without your input, can deliver a result. So when you have large amount of experience, large amount of, proven, I dislike that word because proven implies, lots of things. When you have large amounts of process, you've done something many times, hundreds of times, thousands of times, tens of thousands of times, then you have a large amount of experience and you have a high amount of leverage, because you can produce something that on its own will get a result with the minimum of you. Probably none of you. I ran a training this morning for clients around a book funnel. The goal with my book is that people could buy it and get a result completely without me. And there is no limit to the number of books I can sell, the number of books I can produce, because they're digital, we can replicate them, etc. So when you have a lot of experience, you have the most amount of leverage. And when you're looking at people starting or, their right next move, then understanding how much leverage you have through how much experience you have is super, super useful, because it gives you a sense of what are you trying to build and make the right next move on. Because if you have a ton of experience, you have a ton of leverage, because you can start with high leverage things. You can make courses, you can make programs, you can make books where you have, almost unlimited production of them with a minimum of you, charge a decent price for them and actually help people get a result without you. If you're just starting out and you have, just a newly acquired skill, or you have something very early stage, then you have less leverage, but you can run that process again and again for people. And with this, it's, about getting the result, doing it for people to build the experience, on behalf of yourself and other people. So these days, the information and the knowledge economy are all about leverage, and it's about understanding where it actually lies. And leverage doesn't mean that you've got a shortcut to laziness, I can take other people's money and, learn on their dime. And equally, it's not a shortcut to, I can just produce a book or a course and sell it ad infinitum, and never have a completely passive income. It's about understanding what your intention is, what your goal is, and how it fits in the wider ecosystem. I use all forms of leverage, in my consulting business. I have standalone courses, I have services, I have done with you programs, I have everything, and they all serve different goals for different prices for different people at different stages relative to where their experience is and the levels of access they need. Wildly experienced people might buy a course and take something from me and get an immediate result and be able to get a massive ROI from a $100 product because they have the experience to use my experience adequately. So it's about understanding what leverage is for you, deploying it based relative to the experience and also relative to the goals. Because when you look at it through these lens, then the next move, whether it's starting out, the next move in terms of adding a new product or a new offer becomes a lot clearer because it's based on the real world experience that you've got, the real world leverage that you're trying to generate, and the real results that you can create for other people. So all of these things at the end of the day come back to, those principles. So if you look at it through those lens, then the next move that you make, might be a lot clearer than it was yesterday.